At OPTAVIA, our mission is to offer the world lifelong transformation, one healthy habit at a time. The following audio contains the personal testimonials of independent coaches and clients within the OPTAVIA community. Their results are based on the unique experiences of their journey. We cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. We hope these stories inspire you to continue your journey with or join OPTAVIA, but please note that they have not been verified and your individual path to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you speak with a healthcare provider or doctor prior to beginning your journey with OPTAVIA. Additionally, this audio may contain income or earnings representations of some independent OPTAVIA coaches. The stories shared reflect the unique experience of a very small percentage of OPTAVIA coaches and should not be relied upon by prospective or current OPTAVIA coaches as an indication of what they should expect to earn. We cannot guarantee financial success. Success with OPTAVIA results from successful sales efforts which require hard work, diligence, skill, persistence, competence, and leadership. OPTAVIA acknowledges that this audio may be accessible to OPTAVIA coaches in the US, Hong Kong, and Singapore. For OPTAVIA coaches operating in the US, please see the OPTAVIA Income Disclosure Statement for statistics on actual earnings of US coaches under the US Compensation Plan. Please note that the Income Disclosure Statement only applies to independent OPTAVIA coaches operating in the U.S. under the U.S. Compensation Plan and does not in any way constitute any representations as to actual or potential accrual of benefits for Hong Kong or Singapore coaches under the International Compensation Plan.
Hi, good evening.
We are David and Deanna.
And Deanna Asencio. And welcome to our Health and Hope Night with OPTAVIA. We are so glad that you're here. We want to introduce ourselves and share with you a little bit about us before we jump right into this.
Yes. So obviously we are independent health coaches with OPTAVIA and just super excited to be here because there's some amazing stories we want to share, but a little bit about us first.
Yes, absolutely. When I started program, it was actually 5 years ago that I was a little stuck in my health. And we have been living in Dallas. We have been married for 19 years and we have 2 teen daughters, as you see in our picture there. And, I came from a background of being really passionate about health. I owned an alternative healthcare center and I knew what to do in regards to health. I knew what to eat. I knew what to drink, and I would share that with my clients in my practice. But honestly, at the time, my life was a little crazy. It was a little upside down, and I really wasn't doing it myself. And so one day I just happened to be scrolling Facebook and I saw a dear friend of mine who ended up being my health coach. I saw her story, her transformation story. And I immediately reached out to her and said, "What are you doing?" Oh my gosh. And honestly, she didn't think that we needed the program because so far as she knew, I was the alternative healthcare girl. I knew about health and my husband was the gym guy. But what she didn't know was that I was heavier than I'd ever been, even pregnant. I was tired. I was addicted to sugar. I was really, truly uncomfortable in my skin. And it was affecting all areas of my life. It was affecting me as a wife and as a mother.
Yeah. And that's her story. But for me, guys, I wish I could tell you I was smart and ask for help. But the thing is, like she shared, I used to be that guy who was like working out twice a day, always in the gym, outrunning my fork, but then life just shifted on me. I couldn't do that anymore. What was working for me then, just because of my circumstances of life, busy career, girls, right, at work and commuting, that just wasn't working anymore. But that what really compounded things for me was just work in my former role as a chief technology officer for a company. And just my schedule got so demanding that I couldn't make it to the gym anymore, right? But I didn't stop eating like I was going to the gym. That was a big problem. But also, there were a lot of demands. Even though I worked with some incredible people there, loved them. It was an amazing family that we worked with in that team. But there were a lot of circumstances that were outside that were just making my role so incredibly stressful. I just started stress eating, and it just started to hold decline in my health. But for me, I got to tell you, the wake up call was, I remember I was away on a business trip, and it was actually over my birthday. So I wake up that morning, I get dressed for a business meeting, and I can't even buckle my pants. I mean, I couldn't do it. I had to like do the polo thing over the shirt. And if you're in business worlds, you know what I'm talking about, like to hide. But the whole time I'm in the meeting, I'm not fully present because I'm thinking about, oh my gosh, like I hope nothing goes wrong with my pants here, right? So I'm just not fully present. And I knew I needed to make a change. And I got back and I shared this with her. And guys, I wish I could tell you I was ready to change then, but I'm stubborn. And it wasn't until my loving wife told me that I had to do the program. I was voluntold to do this. And it's just amazing. I mean, I'm 51 now. And I started this program, I think I was like 47.
Mm-hmm.
And when I started this program, I lost 25 pounds, but it was more about what I gained. And I got to tell you, going from a pant size 38 to a pant size 32 was amazing. But 5 years later, man, I am here at a pant size 31. So it is amazing, but that's just a little bit of my story.
Yeah. And when I knew that this was the right program for me was literally on day 4. I noticed a huge difference. My hunger had decreased. My cravings were gone. My energy was through the roof. I had never felt this good. And in 2 weeks, I really noticed a difference in how my clothes were fitting. And like David said, I was 49 years old when I started this program. I'm 53, about to be 54. And I'm telling you what, I didn't think that was possible at my age for me to look good and feel good and have great health. I didn't think that was possible. So I knew I needed to share this. In my second week, I actually signed up to be a coach. I'd only lost a few pounds, but I'm telling you what, I had never felt this great before. And, I've always had a passion about health, but it wasn't really until I knew what was possible with coaching that I had taken and shifted from this just being really a hobby and me wanting to just help a few people. Literally, I became a coach because I wanted to help my mom get healthy. But I shifted that when I saw what was possible, and I took more time, more effort, put more energy into my business. And man, the blessings that have come from that one decision, the people we have met, who some of them you're going to hear from in a second, man, that was life-changing.
Yeah, you talk about impact and change, because I say this all the time. You don't know what you don't know. I didn't know what I didn't know. But what we saw was this was different, right? It didn't fit our mold of what we thought existed out there. And it gave us, but really me, options, right? Because I had to make a shift in my environment. It was just too much on my emotional health. So it's like, well, I could either decide to get another role in another corporation, just kind of doing the same old. And I got to tell you, living a life of purpose, man, it is something amazing. I mean, waking up to that, but the thing is, when I talk about options in my former role as a CTO, my daughter wanted to do archery, and I could buy her any bow. I could buy her any of the accessories. But my biggest challenge was with my demanding schedule. How do I take her to this event? So the most painful thing for me was having to say no to her, not because of not having financial resources, but just having the flexibility in the schedule, and just gave us a lot more of that flexibility. Because here's the beautiful thing about coaching. I don't have to be in an office. I don't have to wear a certain suit and tie. This is my suit. You like it? It's nice, right? Like you can do this from anywhere. Yep. I mean, it's all about doing it in nooks and crannies of your day. And just like your health journey, we say this all the time, in your pace.
Yep, absolutely. And so, enough about us. Actually, we have an agenda. We want to share with you guys what a difference this has made for us. And you've heard some of this. We talked about mindset. We talked about skill set. We've talked about action, but really it comes down to your mindset, being awakened to the secrets of lifelong transformation. And honestly, guys, I didn't come into this thinking of a lifelong transformation. I just wanted to lose a little bit of weight, but man, that was really the first thing.
Yeah. And for me, I am big into empowerment, but in order to empower somebody, you got to learn the tools. And we're going to talk more about that a little later, but in how to make those shifts, because the biggest thing you want to do is making a decision on how to shift that. And we're going to talk through some of that.
Absolutely. And having the right thoughts and making a decision means nothing without taking that first step. So you always have to have that action. And the beauty of OPTAVIA is that all of those steps are laid out for you. Whether you want healthy body, whether you want healthy mind, or you want healthy finances, everything is all laid out for you. So you know a little bit about us. We want to hear and know about you.
Yeah. So since you've heard a little bit of us, again,
there's a poll.
There's a poll. We want to know about you. So just share here on this poll. What do you think best describes you? You know, and just pick one. Are you a guest attending? Are you an OPTAVIA client here in the US? I don't know if you noticed, but we're international. How cool is that? Right? Or you Hong Kong or Singapore? Are you independent health coach in either of those continents? Let us know. We really would love to know who's here.
Yep, absolutely. And we'll come back to those poll results in a little bit. Actually, this one we won't know because this is a surprise. But next is, where did this all come from? So we tell people all of the time, as we're sharing with them the program, this wasn't something that David and I thought up. This wasn't something that we created ourselves. Thank goodness for Dr. Wayne Scott Anderson. He is way smarter than us. He literally is the co-founder of OPTAVIA. He himself is an independent OPTAVIA coach. I've actually met some of his clients, and he is an integrated presidential director, same as us. And man, I'm telling you what, Dr. Anderson, everything he has put together, he knows what he's doing. He was a valedictorian of his medical class, trained in open heart surgery, 10th board certified critical care physician in the US. This is the gentleman who has created these tools that we get to learn from. He's the co-founder, as I already mentioned. He's written best-selling books, the Habits of Health book and our life book. I mean, it is the tools needed to provide independent coaches with this approach to exploring our habits and creating better health. All right. He has put all of these things together. And honestly, he's actively committed and driven to developing and maintaining weight loss and disease control in the US. And when you get a chance to meet, we've had the opportunity to meet Dr. Anderson on numerous occasions. And I'm telling you what, when you get a chance to meet him in person, you will have no doubt that he is not only going to change your health, but he is on a mission to get the world healthy.
Yeah, that's for certain. I mean, you meet him in person. Yes. Okay. We shared it. He's got the credentials, right? But it's about the heart, and he is dead serious. I mean, he always asks us, so are you with me on this mission? And we're like, yes, we're all the way. Okay. But this is all awesome, right? And if you're like me, that's cool. But share with me kind of some of the facts, right? So where's all the facts that are kind of driving a lot of this mission? Because really it is a mission. And here's the reality. I mean, sadly to say, I mean, we have this issue in the world with obesity, and it's not just here in the US, it's worldwide. I mean, we've all moved to a global commerce, right? And with that have come accelerated health factors and stress factors. Mm-hmm. Sadly, since it just continued to triple since 1975. I mean, that is mind-blowing, right? There's actually a new word for it. It's called globesity. I mean, it's that impactful. And here's the thing, I can get into stats after stat after stat, but the reality, what we're going to be focusing on a lot here is how do we address having a healthy body, and then working as we're going, having a healthy mindset, and then shifting that into possibly healthy finances, because those are some of the key stress factors. I mean, look at here. We used to serve with a couples program to kind of help in marriages. And one of the biggest stress factor was finances. Talking about how are we going to do this? How are we going to do that? And sadly, people, while they're still in jobs, stressed over finances. I'm like, wow, you talk about compounding factors, right? And then we're also looking at statistics in terms of depression across the US. Right. And it's just this compounding of issues that just continue to grow. So what's the solution, right? How do we get traction? Because so many of us, either one or area of these or all three, are like, how did I get here? And more importantly, how do I get out of here? So we want to talk about some of those things and what that might look like for you.
Yep. And we are so blessed to have an opportunity to have these tools already created for us. Like we mentioned, Dr. Anderson put together the Life book and the Habits of Health book. There's a cool app if you're into technology. He literally created the Habits of Health system. And it is so great to have these tools in this handbook and literally step by step broken down into what we call baby steps to help all of us be successful. You know, I shared this earlier, but for me, I really just wanted to lose a few pounds, but I really realized it was more than just a diet. And what Dr. A had created was this whole transformational system that encompassed the whole self. He looked at us holistically. And, you know, we start by getting our body healthy. We move on to our healthy mindset. And as an OPTAVIA coach, you even have an opportunity to create healthy finances, which we're going to talk about more in a minute. But because you really do need all three to create what we call optimal health.
Yeah. So for example, one of the things that is part of the health transformation system in Dr. A's Life book is in a particular element, right? It's specifically element 4. And I got to tell you, element 4 is my jam. I am all about mindset because, guys, it is not about what we put into our mouth that got us into the problem. It's why we decided to put that in there. But the biggest thing, like I could spend hours on this topic. Unfortunately, we don't have that much time. So I'm just going to cover just some of the things that have always been key takeaways for me, because I think I shared this before, but for me, my job was so stressful that I was a stress eater because I didn't have the outlet. So I turned to food to just try to find that relief. But the thing is, I was just doing it out of reaction. So the thing I love about this graph, you're looking here, see an element 4, again, we work on building a healthy mindset as we're physically starting to get healthy and you're gaining capacity, right? So the whole thing about the healthy mindset here is, first is raising awareness. Where am I in relation to this line in a situation or in a moment, in the moment, when you find yourself either overeating or feeling stressed or maybe being short with a loved one or in a situation? Where am I? Am I willing? Where am I in this line? Am I below the line or am I above the line? And I'll talk a little bit more about that, but am I willing to be open to growth? Am I willing to take a moment, step back? What's going on? What's the situation here to move forward? These are the tools that we're talking about to be able to help you sustain a healthy lifestyle. Again, body, mind, finances, right? So it's really stepping into those things and raising awareness in terms of how to react. How am I reacting to these circumstances? Again, habits, right? And learning awareness so that you can flip that around so that these things that are no longer serving you or these reactions that are no longer serving you, for me, it was stress eating and then binge eating on that, right? How can I flip that around when a stressful situation occurs? Because let's get real, there's always going to be some form of stress in our lives. So how are we going to respond to it when it comes up? Not if, it's a matter of when. So these are those things that kind of step us through that. The next thing from here that I love is, again, there's so much more, guys. I am not even doing this justice, okay? But there's so much more to this. And that is, we call this the drama triangle, okay? And that is, okay, now that I'm aware that I'm reacting, where am I in this moment? Where am I finding myself? And then what can I do to move and shift? And if you do any kind of sports or any kind of activity, I love the word pivot, because it's just a small step or it's just a small degree of an angle and moving physically from where you are into a different space, so that you can learn to grow and shift and move from there, right? And there was this really old book, but there's something that was written, this really old book I really love, that it talks about that trials, when they come, that they're happening for us, and we're to take joy in that. So I don't know about you, but sometimes, like when something not so good happens in my moment, like, really, I'm not really feeling joy in this moment. But okay, so what is going on here? What can I do? Is this in my control? Is this not in my control? But what else do I need to learn from this? Because that's an opportunity for you to grow. Like I said, I could spend hours on here, but I don't want to lose you guys. I want to go on because there's some incredible speakers that are going to share here. But yep. How are some of the tools that we use?
So what I love is that all of these things, again, it goes back to the habits of health. teach us and give us exactly what we need to be successful. So there's four components that really set us apart from anything else out there. Number one is you'll be working with a coach. And what we do as coaches is we help to provide structure and accountability. And we help you to develop some new habits and to learn how to make healthy choices that lead to not just getting the excess weight off or having more energy or creating better sleep, but keeping it off and keeping the energy where you need it to be and helping you to have better sleep. And again, it comes down to the habits of health. We keep bringing this up over and over again, but I can't talk enough about it. Our habits of health system was created by Dr. Wayne Anderson, literally is a system that he developed that contains all the tools that we need to replace some unhealthy habits with healthier ones. But again, the key is we break them down into bite-sized pieces to make it doable, right? Our community, I'm telling you what, guys, our community is second to none. We're going to talk a little bit about both our client community and later about our coaching community. But as a client, in addition to a coach, you'll have access to support from our community of other like-minded people who are just like you. They all are focused on creating better health. We have access to so many free resources, live and recorded video conferences. We have support calls. We have access to nutrition support, client support groups, online support. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. Our OPTAVIA community is one of my favorite parts, and literally it is second to none. And lastly, our OPTAVIA fuelings. One of the habits that we create is to fuel our bodies 6 times a day. But I remember when my coach told me that, I was like, oh man, I don't have time for that. And I don't know what to do. Oh my gosh. But, many people are just like me. If you're sitting here going 6 times a day, how in the world am I going to fit that into my crazy life? Right? So how OPTAVIA has made this easy for us is by taking the guesswork out of the nutritional component, because there's all kinds of information out there. Some of it's good, some of it's not so good. But guys, how do we do this? By providing some of those meals for us, okay? There are many different plans and programs out there. Get together with the person that invited you to see which plan is the right fit for you. But we have what we call fuelings, and we call them this because part of our healthy mindset is realizing that food is fuel, right? It's fuel for our bodies to do and to live the life that we want. And so why just some of the meals and not all of them? Because this is about learning as you go. We focus on education and teaching you. Remember I said that earlier, teaching you not just how to get the weight off or how to get better energy, but how to keep you there. And we do it simply and easily so that you can develop these habits to sustain you for a lifetime. And so whether your goal is to shed a little bit of excess body fat or to improve your all over health, it is literally these 4 components that set us apart from anything else out there.
Yep. But now my favorite part, let's do another poll.
Yay.
Again, this is all about you.
Yep. So which of those 4 components that I just mentioned do you feel at this point in your life is more valuable to you? And you get to pick more than one if you want, because if you're indecisive like me, do you love the OPTAVIA coaching? Do you think that accountability that you need? Is it the transformational system and learning exactly what I need to do when I need to do it? Is it that community of other like-minded people? Or is it the fuelings which make this so easy and convenient? So put your answer in there and we'll come back to those results in a minute.
Yeah, cool. We can all the above for
me. Exactly. Yeah.
Right now, we want to introduce you to just somebody amazing. All right. These are so many other amazing speakers, but we want to introduce you to Sam Crump. Sam, would you please share some of your stories?
Absolutely. Well, hi, everybody. Thank you so much. It's an honor to be joining you here tonight. Again, my name is Sam Crump, as I said, and I live in Phoenix, Arizona, married, got 4 adult children. My professional training, I'm an attorney. I also own a retail store. I'll tell you what, just a little bit over 4 months ago, I had never heard of OPTAVIA. And so when it was just about Easter, and I was starting to feel sorry for myself and getting overweight, eating and drinking too much, being too sedentary. And the reason for that was that just about 3 years ago, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer. And these days, a lot of people say, well, prostate cancer, that's pretty common. They can deal with it. And that's exactly what I thought. So I did exactly what the doctor said. And in 2018, I had prostate removal surgery and thought, great, that's okay. We're all good to go. And then the doctor said, well, apparently it's still in your body. So we're going to have you do radiation for 2 months. So in summer of 2019, I did radiation. And I thought, great, all right, that must have taken care of it now. Well, over the next 6 months, they did more blood tests and they said, well, this is a stubborn one. And unfortunately, it's still in your body. It's spread somewhere else. And they said, this is called, it's metastasized and it's now stage 4 cancer. And I thought that never sounds good because stage 4 is the highest number that it goes to. And so that's why I really started feeling sorry for myself, as you can understand. In fact, I did some research and learned that my survival rate for 5 years was only about 30%. And so I went into a funk and not living a healthy lifestyle. But then just this last Easter, again, just about 4 months ago, I just had an awakening and I said, I'm going to reach out to somebody I know who had done a program, and he told me he had lost a lot of weight. And so I contacted him. I said, can you tell me what that was? And we got on a call and he told me about it. And my wife was on the call and I was so excited. I said, I can try anything, for a month. Let me try it. Let's see if it works. So we signed up right there. And I got so excited about the program and its effectiveness and how simple it was that I quickly called him back and I said, this is amazing. Can I be a coach like you? And he said, absolutely, because we love it when people are new on the program because they're sharing authentically and their enthusiasm is powerful. So that's what I did. And I was a new client and I was a new coach and really living the healthy experience, but sharing it with others. As for the health, the personal health experience, it was just amazing for me because I've now lost 55 pounds. But when I signed up, I really just wanted to lose weight. My clothes weren't fitting well. That's really all I expected. And he didn't even tell me a whole lot more than that. And so I learned and explored for myself the other benefits. And I started to feel right away the energy level for myself, along with the weight loss, which I was experiencing every day. And that new energy, and now I'd go to the office and people say, boy, you seem different. And my mental acuity started just so much sharper and able to manage my work better. So I just found this really amazing. That helped me a lot as a coach because becoming a coach created an accountability for me. And now I was getting some clients under me who were looking to me and saying, well, how is he doing? So that was terrific, is having the accountability. Instead of treating my stage 4 cancer, for which there's no cure, my doctor tells me we're just going to have to manage it. Instead of treating that as a death sentence, I had now a whole new mindset because of losing weight, feeling better energy, better mental acuity. And I said, you know what? Okay, 30% chance. Well, guess what? Instead of just feeling sorry for myself and this is shrugging my shoulders, I'm going to try to beat this thing. I'm going to go after it. And if I'm going to try to beat it, I'm going to need to have a healthy body. I'm going to need to have a healthy mind. And that's what I'm going to work on. And at the end of the day, I know I'm a faithful person. If the good Lord decides that I've only got a few years left, well, okay, even more so. I'm going to make these the best years and quality years of life that I can for me, for my children, for my wife, and even for some future grandkids that we're expecting. So that's my story. And this has been life transforming for me. It became so much more than just weight loss. And thanks for a chance to share it with you.
Oh my goodness. Do you see why this guy is so passionate? I'm going to tell you what, he started working on his health way before his fuelings ever arrived. He has had his mindset is just on fire for this program. He absolutely is so passionate about what this program has done for him and his mindset, just all 4 of those components we talked about earlier, that he is just a joy to coach, wants to help as many people as possible. And we just love that through coaching, we got to meet someone amazing like Sam Crump. So thank you for sharing, Sam.
Thanks, Sam.
Yep. So let's share with you some of those results from our poll. So this is which of the 4 components are the most valuable for you?
Wow.
Check that out.
That is so cool.
Yeah, I was kind of a D, all of the above kind of person too, but I just love that we have all of these different resources and tools and things that are available to every single one of us.
And what's so cool is a lot of you chose a number, not just one, right? But yeah, it is so amazing. Really cool.
Yep, absolutely. So we want to share with you next what we call a trilogy wheel. And what in the world is this trilogy wheel? So what it is it talks about healthy body, healthy mind, and healthy finances. And it literally takes all 3 of these to have optimal health. So, David was mentioning we do have a daughter that does archery. So the goal with this wheel, because it can be a lot to look at, is like archery. The goal is to hit the bullseye, to move towards a 10. So wherever you are in these 3 different areas, the goal is to move closer and closer to a 10, utilizing some of those micro habits that Dr. Anderson has set up in our habits of health. So for instance, let's take a look at healthy body, right? There's a lot in there, whether it's healthy weight that you're looking for, healthy eating, healthy sleep, physical activity. Take a look at that. And if you're open to it, some audience participation, put your number, whether you're a 2, 4, 6, 8, or 10 in healthy body, put that in the chat. And I don't know about you, but I needed help in all of these areas when I started. And healthy mind. One of the things, and I love this, I've said it before, one of the things I love best about our program, and it really, truly is what sets us apart from anything out there, it's what David shared earlier, that we look at healthy mindset. Mm-hmm. And this is literally where OPTAVIA kind of breaks that diet mentality, right? That health is only what we put in our mouth. I was coaching that for a long time in my practice, but it's not. You really, for optimal health, have to have all 3. And literally what David and I, or more so me, baby, learned from years of yo-yo dieting is that literally you cannot have healthy body long-term without healthy mind. So take a look at that. Where are you with healthy mind? Sam was just talking about where he was in a funk. Are you in a funk? I was in a funk for sure. And then lastly, your healthy finances. And, David and I, growing up, we both came from very humble beginnings. Our parents worked their tails off to provide for us, but there were many times where there was more month than money. Have you ever been there? Have you ever been in a situation like that? Yeah, we have too. And so we didn't initially become coaches for the finances, but I will share with you that the blessings that have come from coaching have helped us give more, have helped us serve more, and do more for those that we really, truly care about.
Yeah. We'll talk more about that later, but there's so much more to this on the surface. But we really want you to hear, not just from us, but another amazing person. So right now, I would love to introduce Nate and Mindy.
Another couple people.
Another couple. Yeah, we love it when couples get healthy together. It's awesome.
Nate and Mindy, please share with us your story.
Woohoo! We are so excited to be here. And I just, every time we hear, David and Deanna's story, and Sam, man, we love you, man. And just your stories just help to motivate and inspire us. But giddy up. We are Nate and Mindy Sletton, and we are independent certified OPTAVIA coaches. I started my journey before Mindy did on January 31st of 2019. And I was able to lose 85 pounds during my weight loss phase of my journey. And that helped me gain so much confidence in the way I looked and in the way I felt. I just knew I had to pay that forward. So like, it was like month 2, I think. And I started, becoming a coach, or I became a coach for OPTAVIA. And that was a game changer for me. Kind of like what Deanna was talking about. I thought I had and Sam did too, I had started just another diet, right? I just want to lose a little bit of weight. And it started to become a transformational lifestyle for me, not only for what was happening here with my body, but what was happening up here with my mind and my mindset. I come from a teaching background. I've enjoyed reading and preaching motivational leadership and growth mind. You can see all the books back here. Growth mindset books, videos, materials. I've been doing that for the last like 15 to 20 years. And it made a huge impact on my students, right? But when I read this passage in the life book, it was like a gut punch. Okay. So in the life book, it said this, and this was like the first time I actually started marking in my life book. It says, most people are sleepwalking through their days, unaware and not conscious of what's happening around them. They are not sensitive to the reactive state that they live in and how they are responding on a daily basis to the people, places, and things in their lives. They do not know how to treat themselves. Life is happening to them. Oh my gosh. That was like a gut punch. And then I went back in my book and started over, because I'm like, okay, I need to do this. Like all of the books, all of the podcasts, all of the videos that I'd gone through, I never realized that I personally was receiving and perceiving that material from below the line. I was closed. I was defensive. I was blaming other people. I had a fixed mindset. But you know what? Why didn't I realize that? I think a lot of us can probably say that we're there. And why didn't I realize that? Is because I had seen the success that I had instilled and been able to help others with. You see that growth, the momentary bursts of excellence that they have would, pull me above the line for a little while, but I wasn't applying the strategies and information consciously myself. I wasn't reflecting on my own thoughts and feelings, and life was certainly happening to me and not for me or by me. And unfortunately for my family, my students at school, or those teachers at school, they weren't seeing that. But when I came home, I was dad on the couch. I was too tired from my 3 little girls. Just recently, we were in Florida, and one of my favorite non-scale victories is that this clearly shows the mindset part of this. I jumped in the pool, and my 9 years old, looked around and said, "Daddy, you've never been swimming with us before." My body had caught up with, and thankfully for losing that weight, I felt good, but my mindset wasn't there yet. And so that's just a huge non-scale victory that's been incredible. But after working through that life book, getting more curious and engaging in this conversation with Mindy and my coaches, the Hoffmans, I've really started to apply this conscious leadership and mind work to myself. Does that mean that I'm always operating above the line? Well, from her laugh, you can tell no, right? But it has provided me with strategies, whether that's, Dr. A's Stop, Challenge, Choose, or reflective practices, like that weekly call with my coach, or those conversations with Mindy, or writing in the life book, that help me to realize when I am below the line. And it helps me to consciously make that decision to change that. As David said, pivot, right? This has made this for me the best professional and personal development that I've ever experienced.
And as he said, his journey started, back in January of 2019. I'm a skeptical person. So I watched him, go through all this, changes in his body and start working on that mental health too. And I had always seen him preaching and teaching about growth mindset, but hadn't really noticed it at home. But I was always like, that's great for his students, or even I'm a private piano teacher. I'm like, even for my students, like, that's great to teach them. But I wasn't, like Nathan, applying it to me. And I didn't need that. And as David said earlier, we don't know what we don't know. I did need it. I just didn't know I needed it. I am a recovering perfectionist, which I have learned through our coaching community and just talks with this personal development. That's a fixed mindset. I was holding myself back from what was possible because I was afraid of failure. And that's what perfectionists do. We don't go all in on anything unless we're 100% sure we can do it perfectly, which is not possible. Right. So I had to trust Nathan. I had to trust OPTAVIA and this plan. And after watching him for so long, be motivational to others on OPTAVIA and see his progress, that I was like, finally, okay, I'm trusting you. I'm trusting OPTAVIA. This works. I need to do this too. So I had my own journey once I started with him of losing 50 pounds, and I just felt fantastic. And I decided I wanted to help him. I wanted to make an impact. I wanted to help more people feel this way that I was feeling, not just in my body, but in my mind. And it was when I started doing that, that I realized the body-mind connection through all of this. Like I had said, Nathan, has been reading those motivational, inspirational, self-improvement books forever. And I never had. I'd never read them. So I started with the life book. And that's what changed it, getting into that element 4, where I, as they showed earlier, seeing when I was below the line, when I was in that drama triangle, and what part I was playing in that drama triangle, because it's always different depending on the situation. And not necessarily that I'm perfect, and that because that's what I feared, was not being perfect.
Right?
Musicians, we always fear not being perfect. But realizing where I was, and realizing I have the tools and I have the people around me to pull me out of those situations, and to pull myself out of those situations. I have those tools. I have that stop, challenge, choose. I have ways to make the community around me and myself and my family better. The coach community is amazing. It's one of our favorite things in the world. It's
incredible.
But they've challenged my thinking. They ask me the questions that make me rethink how I'm responding to situations and to people, and it just improves our whole life. So through OPTAVIA and coaching, I can become a better mom, a better wife, a better musician, a better teacher, a better church member, a better friend. I've experienced less stress in our life because of that trilogy of OPTAVIA: the healthy body, the healthy mind, the healthy finances. Because honestly, those were all 3 huge stressors in our life. And the things that, we can do has changed me, has changed our family, and it's changed the goals that we have for our future.
Thank you so much for letting us share, and giddy up. Woohoo!
Love it. You guys are so awesome. I got to tell you,
they are Team Giddy Up.
They are Team Giddy Up. And they said so many great things. But one thing they kept repeating a theme, and that is knowledge without application is useless.
Yep.
Don't just become a collector, right? But like they said, Mindy shared it, like Nathan was all into mindset, and that was his growth and living there. Not so much for Mindy, right? But she started feeling better, and in starting to feel better, she gained a little capacity. It's like, well, what else is behind it? And then started to read her life book. That's how we get this started, right?
Yep.
So it's amazing. Thank you, guys.
Love that.
All right. So back to you guys. We want to take a pulse from you in terms of, again, where are you? What's important to you? So we're going to put a little poll up here. And if you would, which areas of this trilogy wheel are you feeling in terms of your health? Like which one is more important to you? And it's okay. There's a multiple choice. You don't have to just pick one, right? Do you feel for you, it's more about your healthy body? Is it your healthy mindset? Is it your healthy finances? Or is it 2 or all 3, right? We definitely want to hear from you guys. Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
And so up next is what happens when you start to focus on healthy body, and what happens when you start to focus on healthy mindset. Guess what? People will notice 100%. Like I said, I noticed it on day 4. So when that happens, when we have a brand new client, I am telling them on day 4, guess what? People are going to notice.
They do.
And they do. Absolutely. We just had a client that told us yesterday on day 3, she was on a Zoom with some of her coworkers, and people are like, you're different. You look different. You're talking different. And that was only in 3 days. We can't guarantee that you're going to feel amazing, but I'm telling you what, people do notice. They're going to notice your energy. And so what happens when people notice? We always tell all of our clients, you have 2 options when that happens. Number 1, you can refer them to your coach. We love working with referrals, but you know what? Honestly, the better option, at least in regards to our opinion, is to pay it forward and become a coach yourself. Why? Because they don't know us. They're your friend, and they're going to be asking you all the questions anyway. So you might as well be coaching them.
And that's exactly what happened to me. In my former role, she was helping all these people around me get healthy. And then they came up to me and said, hey, I thought we were going to do this together. I thought you were going to coach me. And then she said, welcome aboard, coach.
Exactly. And I'm going to tell you this right now. You might be like, you know what? I would love to help people, but I don't know what it's going to take to be a coach. Like, do I have to be an expert? Do I have to own an alternative healthcare center? Nope. Because when he was like, I can't be a coach, I said, how many fuelings do you eat on the 5-in-1? And he said, 5. I said, what's in a lean and green? He said, lean protein and some healthy veggies and some healthy fats. How much water do you drink a day? He said, minimum 64 ounces. I said, welcome aboard, coach. That's literally all it takes because of all these amazing resources that we have available to us. So you have covered up what's next for me.
So now we're going to talk about all those poll results. Okay. So welcome to doing this live.
Yes.
Awesome.
Exactly.
So we want to share with you just what, wow, check that out. That is so cool. I love that. Yeah. I mean, look again, look how many you chose multiples. Again, this is not one thing. That's what Deanna mentioned this earlier. This program, sorry, when I get excited, I talk fast. This program
Try to keep up.
is about treating the person as a whole. It's not one thing. Love that.
Yep.
Very cool.
Absolutely. What?
We're not done.
We're not done yet. Nope.
So
what are some of those benefits of becoming an OPTAVIA coach? I talked about some of them earlier. Man, you know what? It will reinforce your decision to be healthy. What's that look like? Accountability.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you want to walk your talk as an OPTAVIA coach. And that wasn't something necessarily that I was expecting, but I love that 5 years later, I am still at a healthy weight. And I can guarantee you that's because of that I am a coach. Paying it forward to make a difference. Like I mentioned, I love that fulfillment of purpose that comes from helping other people be successful. And honestly, you just have to help one other person and your results will be great. You know, we're all excited when we all have healthy body and healthy mind ourselves, but you help just one other person and it will take your results times 1,000.
Yeah. You talk about, you know, legacy and make an impact. Oh my gosh, this next person that is going to share with you, close personal friend. I don't want to steal her thunder, but Brandy, would you please come off of mute and just kind of share your story?
Yes, I will. Thank you so much, David and Deanna, for the opportunity to share my program story, my coaching story with all of you guys. And I also want to really thank you. I'm so grateful for your yes to coaching yourself, because I know that you have helped so many people not only get healthy, but you've helped so many other families like ours experience options and freedom now, thanks to health coaching. And that's been my experience. So thank you for having me. I am a certified family nurse practitioner, and I specialize in preventative medicine and anti-aging. So looking back now, just my personal experience as a client, I've contended with food addiction pretty much my whole life. Not something I realized really until close to getting towards this program. But prior to OPTAVIA, I had been either on or off of a diet pretty much my entire adult life since about 17. I had tried every diet, every pill, shot, potion that was out there. And after losing and regaining 30 to 60 pounds, at least 10 times, I just figured there has to be another way, right? I've got to start looking into alternatives. So as a nurse practitioner in the functional medicine space, we're all about trying to get to the root cause of illness and dysfunction. And we don't just want to band-aid symptoms. So that's really what I was looking for as a solution. I found over and over that I could successfully help my clients to lose the weight, but they weren't really getting healthier. And I couldn't help them to keep the weight off. It was return business all the time. They would lose the weight and come back to me. So none of the crash diets, the other programs that were eliminating entire food groups, like you can't eat any carbs, ever really got to the root cause of the problem, which is really their unhealthy lifestyle, their unhealthy habits, and the relationship that they had to food and that I had and struggled with. So speaking of trying everything to lose weight, I actually have tried OPTAVIA in the past. So about 3 years ago, I did try the program. I say try because I really treated it just like another diet. I didn't integrate the habits of health that you've heard about. I just treat it like any other diet. And so fast forward 2 years later, I've regained all the weight and then some, and I was really miserable. So about a year ago, I found myself, again, completely miserable. I had been struggling with things like acid reflux. I had incredible joint pain, felt like I was 60 years old. I had exhaustion. I had lost my confidence. And really, I was just full of shame for regaining the 60 pounds that I had lost. The biggest toll, though, that it took was on my kids and on my marriage. And at the end of the day, there was just nothing left to give to those people, those most important people in my life. I was so tired from working 2 jobs, just trying to, have some disposable income. And again, at the end of the day, there was just nothing left. So instead of coming home and playing with my kids, and instead of coming home and cooking a healthy meal for them, it looked like a lot of sitting on the couch, binging Netflix and ordering DoorDash, right? And then that just left me feeling really guilty for the unhealthy habits that I was modeling for them, guilty for telling them night after night that I was just too tired to come upstairs and to tuck them into bed. And fast forward, a little bit, I shared with a doctor my lifelong yo-yo dieting pattern. She actually suggested that I had a binge eating disorder, and she wanted to prescribe medication for me. And I just knew that that wasn't the answer. I knew another pill was not going to fix what was going on in here, right? This was the problem that I had to get a hold of. So obviously, I just realized that I didn't need another diet or another pill, and that I couldn't do it on my own anymore, that I needed help. So I reached out to my health coaches, to David and Deanna, because I knew that they had a system to not only help me lose the weight, but it was going to really address the healthy mindset and the habit change that I needed to create lasting results this time. So when I called Deanna at 10 o'clock one night, because I was just completely desperate for change, I was like, okay, I'm ready to get back on plan. And this time I want to coach. And I said that because I recognized that if others were watching what I was doing, I was going to be a lot more likely to reach my goals, but also stick to it this time, right? That's the accountability that's so great. What attracted me most to the coaching opportunity was the life of options that I saw in my coaches. I saw my mentors authentically living their life of freedom out loud. They were living the life that I wanted for my family, that included travel and lots of quality family time. And before health coaching, that wasn't a possibility. We didn't have the means to travel or the time off of work to be able to go do those things. And that was something that I really valued for my kids. I wanted to be able to give that to them. So before coaching, I had a lot of working mom guilt. Can anybody else out there relate? If you can relate to mom guilt, working mom guilt in particular, put a 100% in the chat. I was working 2 jobs thinking that the solution to not having disposable income was just, I needed to work more. I needed to work more hours, work harder to make more money, to be able to give my children what I wanted to give them. In trying to provide everything for my kids, though, by working more, I was really depriving them. Now I can see I was depriving them of what they needed the most and who they needed the most. And it was breaking my heart. So I had been sourcing out my parenting duties to daycares and nannies since they were really little. And I justified that I was providing for them and doing that. So my mentors and other amazing coaches on our team showed me that I could work to build something for my family instead of building wealth for someone else. They modeled for me what was possible. And early on, I started thinking, hey, okay, I can do this. And why not me? So why not me kind of became my mantra. And I realized that if I just do what they did, I could get what they got. So we have this amazing vehicle in OPTAVIA, and not only could it help my patients and myself reach my health goals, but I could provide options for myself, my family, my patients that we had never known before. So we started dreaming again. We started dreaming of a life that would include, travel and financial freedom, that we could give our kids the parents back, the parents that were more present and more fulfilled. So after about 10 months of consistently doing the work, that's the key. It takes action over time. This doesn't just happen. This is not a get rich quick scheme, but consistently doing the work, living my personal success, my passion out loud for the program. I was able to cut back my hours in the clinic. And now, don't get me wrong, I love what I do. I love my patients, but I really now am loving the time with my kids even more. It's so valuable, right? They're growing up way too fast. The time is just flying by, and I really feel like I've already missed so much. So glad to have that time back. I want to tell you just a little story about when I was 3 months into my coaching journey. That's when I was really grateful and really started seeing the gift that this could be for my family. I was grateful to be able to work, if you will, to work in the white spaces. We all have these little white spaces of time, and it might be when my daughter's at dance or my son is at baseball. We're driving kids to school, but we have those white spaces. So don't think you don't have time to do this. But in those white spaces and being able to coach anywhere and everywhere was really a gift, because 3 months into my coaching journey, my 11-year-old daughter was diagnosed with a severe spinal curvature. So that's requiring a lot of doctor's appointments. They pretty much told us that she's going to require a major corrective surgery that would fuse her spine. And 11-year-old girl is, it's all about image. She was very anxious about this. Any kid would be devastated by this and hearing that they have to have major surgery. But for her, she's an aspiring Broadway actress. She's known that that's what she wants to do since she was about 5 years old, which is so admirable. And I needed to search for some alternatives for her. I didn't want to just accept that surgery was the only option. Well, all those alternatives take up a lot of time, right? So incredibly grateful that, again, thanks to this opportunity, I now have, we have 2 to 3 appointments a week between chiropractors and physical therapy. And again, being able to provide options for her has been really a blessing. Sometimes those doctor's appointments are far away and oftentimes not covered on insurance. So praise God for this program. So what started as a desire to simply make some extra money and for my patients to be able, and myself to be able to lose the weight and really finally keep it off this time, has turned into the biggest gift for my family. My husband and I have lost 100 pounds combined, and our kids now have their happy, healthy, active, and more available parents around now. So what a blessing. In fact, there really are too many blessings even to count, but I do want to share some in summary here. The accountability is amazing, right? The accountability to my own personal health has been great. I get to inspire other people. I get to inspire other kids. I get to give other kids their moms and their dads and their grandmas back too. So they get to experience the same freedom that I have. And I get to work with coaches and help them to fund their dreams too. So dreams of going to nursing school and having a dream wedding and purchasing a first home, right? That's been so rewarding. I'm surrounded by a coaching family that pours into my ongoing personal growth and development. And I'm also really enjoying sharing this opportunity with other medical providers, chiropractors and doctors and nurse practitioners who can bring this into their practice and start treating medicine the way it is meant to be, in a preventative manner, in a way of getting to root cause of patients not feeling good and having dysfunction. So that's been in a system that's already given to us. We don't have to go out and create something. It's already there and it's already proven and works so great for so many people. So I've also been having the gift of being able to travel. I have traveled more in the last year than I think I have in the last decade. Praise God. It's been so wonderful. It's also given me time off to be able to care for my aging father, who's required some of my assistance. It's brought hope and options and precious time with my daughter as she's going into the teen years. It's allowed us to support our 11-year-old who has big aspirations of being in Major League Baseball, as do most 11-year-old boys, I guess. So being able to help to fund his dreams by, select tournaments and private lessons, everybody's benefiting from this. And because it's all about the kids, I've been able to model for them the value in working hard to build something that no one else can take away from you. And what a gift that is. So, it is no secret that I make sure that all of my clients, even people who aren't clients, are hearing about what a gift that coaching can provide for them. And if they're willing to do the work, if they're willing to put in the work and invest in their future, how rewarding it can be. So for us, it's given us freedom, and hallelujah for options. Thank you guys so much.
Oh, wow. Yes. Thank you so much, Brandy, for sharing. And man, this is definitely been a gift. Not just us getting an opportunity to reconnect and work with Brandy, because we were actually friends way before she became a coach and became a client, but it's obviously been able to bless and impact her family so much. So thank you for sharing all that, Brandy.
Yeah. And, I love so much of what everybody here has shared. But here's the thing, guys, what we do is not hard, but as anything in life, there are no guarantees. I mean, you have to put in the work, right? We had to put in the work for our own health journey. Nobody's going to come make your meals for you, right? You got to do that yourself. So it's a direct correlation to whether it be a health journey or coaching, right? There are no guarantees. And our degree of compensation, guys, is honestly, it's based upon your skill sets, but your level of activity, and you're going to grow through your competencies as you build confidence.
Yep, absolutely. And so give us just a couple more minutes. We're going to wrap this up. But, our progressive growth model looks like this. Everyone starts as an OPTAVIA coach. If that's something you choose to do, something you have a heart to help people, you love to serve others, you have a desire to share health with others, you start as an OPTAVIA coach. And coaches move through these 3 competencies. You'll learn one, and then you move to the next, and you move to the next. And what I love, we say this all the time to our team, competence builds confidence. Every single time. The more you do something, the better you get at it. And what coaches do is they acquire and they support their clients. They help them with their health journey. And then just like Sam said, right? He said, oh my gosh, I love this so much that I wanted to help other people too. So then what happened is his coach went from being just Sam's OPTAVIA coach to being his business coach. And in addition to acquiring and supporting clients, a business coach acquires and works with other coaches to teach them how to be successful. It's a beautiful model because you get helped by people who have gone before you, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, I never had that when I started my practice. No one was there to help me. I love that we have this coaching concept, or coaching model, I should say. And then lastly, a business leader, which is where we are today. They work with both clients, because we're still supporting clients ourselves, and we build teams of coaches and business coaches. And that's where some of those options come in, so far as your finances and your time. But guys, always, always, always remember this: people come first. Mm-hmm. This is about people helping people. And when you help someone else, that is really good for your overall well-being. And you heard Nate and Mindy say this too. We've built this business at the ballpark. Well, our kids don't play. She was at the ballpark. We have done this where we dropped our kids off to ballet, yep, to our acting studio. We've done this at a beach. We've coached people from a beach before, from a mountain before. I mean,
waiting in the checkout line.
Exactly. Exactly. You can do this from anywhere. I love that. There are both part-time and full-time opportunities. You can work this into the white spaces of your day, whichever you desire. You get to be self-employed. There are some definite benefits to that. Yep. Low startup and operating costs. Somebody mentioned not having to carry an inventory, for sure. You don't have to do that. Thank goodness for that.
We're just providing a service.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. That's it. Flexible businesses for busy people. You heard every single one of these people share today, ourselves included, that we were busy people. But we always have a saying, busy people get stuff done. And so I love that OPTAVIA provides the tools and the path. It's kind of like how to ride a bicycle. All you have to do is hop on and make it go. So what's next?
So here's my favorite part, right? Because Nate and Mindy said it earlier, we were talking about this knowledge without application. Okay, this is where it's up. Now your actions, you have to decide. This is really a decision-making moment. And then from the decision, you make an action. So I want to encourage you to reach out with something. But here, I don't know about you, but about me personally, one of the things I despise the most is missed opportunity or having regret, because I can't have that moment back, but I can learn from it and try again, right? So I want to encourage you, if you were invited by this call by someone, they invited you because they care. and they see what's possible, because you don't know what you don't know. But when you're ready, and I really want to encourage you just to reach out to whoever invited you to this call and just have that conversation, because I love this quote. It's one of my favorite quotes, and that is, "It is better to know than not know and always wonder." Right? So just reach out, have that conversation to understand what's possible.
Yeah. And congratulations for investing the time to learn more. You might decide to get started with the program today, or you might decide you want to go ahead and begin paying it forward and receive the blessings of being a business coach as well. It only takes a minute or two to get started. So whether you join us today, join us tomorrow, join us next week, just join us, because this company is going places. Health is always needed. And we are so honored. Thank you to be asked to share a little bit about our story, as well as the stories of Nate and Mindy, Sam, Brandy. Thank you so much. We are honored that you decided to partner with us and make an impact in changing the world together. So thank y'all.
Have a good night.
Good night.
At OPTAVIA, our mission is to offer the world lifelong transformation, one healthy habit at a time. The previous audio contained the personal testimonials of independent coaches and clients within the OPTAVIA community. Their results are based on the unique experiences of their journey. We cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. We hope these stories inspire you to continue your journey with or join OPTAVIA, but please note that they have not been verified and your individual path to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you speak with a healthcare provider or doctor prior to beginning your journey with OPTAVIA. Additionally, this audio may have contained income or earnings representations of some independent OPTAVIA coaches. The stories shared reflect the unique experience of a very small percentage of OPTAVIA coaches and should not be relied upon by prospective or current OPTAVIA coaches as an indication of what they should expect to earn. We cannot guarantee financial success. Success with OPTAVIA results from successful sales efforts which require hard work, diligence, skill, persistence, competence, and leadership. OPTAVIA acknowledges that this audio may be accessible to OPTAVIA coaches in the U.S., Hong Kong, and Singapore. For OPTAVIA coaches operating in the U.S., please see the OPTAVIA Income Disclosure Statement for statistics on actual earnings of U.S. coaches under the U.S. Compensation Plan. Please note that the Income Disclosure Statement only applies to independent OPTAVIA coaches operating in the U.S. under the U.S. Compensation Plan and does not in any way constitute any representations as to actual or potential accrual of benefits for Hong Kong or Singapore coaches under the International Compensation Plan.